Hi guys, this is Nicole from Renursing EDU, and today I want to talk to you about having a nurse practitioner binder. So a nurse practitioner binder will help you while you're in school and when you're out of school as a new NP or even an NP who's been an NP forever. So I wrote an article a few years back in my blog regarding having a nurse practitioner binder and why I think it's beneficial for nurse practitioners to have one. Since that blog has posted, I've actually changed my mind on the stance, and I think that nurse practitioners should have not one, but two binders. And so we'll go through the benefits and the reasoning behind this in this video. So when I was in school, I was coming up on my last semester, I believe, before I graduated. My coworker was in the same school as me, but she was in a different program. So I was in the family nurse practitioner program, and she was in the adult geriatric acute care program, which we all know was formerly acute care NP. So she had told me about her instructors having her and her classmates put together a binder before they graduated. I believe this was in their last semester, and this was a part of a class project. So it was required for them to do a binder. And once she was telling me about it, I was like, well, my program directors don't have us doing that. And I think what your program director is having you do is an awesome idea. And so basically what they were putting in their binders, it's just a regular 3-prong binder, and it could be 1 inch, 2 inches, as many inches as you need, but I think 1 inch is fine. But it's just basically a binder for you to collect and keep all your important information in. So that way you'll have it after you graduate, you'll have it when you start your job, you'll have it when you start another job after that first job. So you'll have all this information condensed and have it in one place. So the things that you should have in your nurse practitioner binder are things like your license. So as nurse practitioners, we all have to have our RN license beforehand. So keep a copy of that. Keep a copy of your APRN license. In Texas, we're considered APRNs. In different states, you may be something else like a certified nurse practitioner, CNP, or whatever your designation in your state. Make sure you have your advanced practice license. Also, your DEA for prescribing scheduled meds, a copy of your NPI number. Also need a copy of your malpractice insurance. So as a student, you should have a policy that you can print out and just have that in the binder. So all this stuff is super important for when you go into credentialing. So what your first job is going to be different than your second and your other subsequent jobs after that. But this way you'll have all this information, and when you do credentialing, you just open up your binder and start entering in the numbers and entering in the information that's needed. This is going to save you a ton of time. Another thing that's really useful putting in your binder is your current resume. So keep your resume current, keep a couple copies of your resume, because this way when you go in for a job interview, you know that, okay, I have a current resume available and it's in my NP binder, so let me just go ahead and get that and take it into the interview with you. Now that we're in COVID times, there's not a lot of in-person interviews, I know, but just in case, you want to just keep a hard copy there so you can keep it easily updated when you can. Another good thing to keep in your NP binder are certificates for your continuing education. Because when you go to renew your license and you go to renew your certification as a nurse practitioner, they're going to want to know what continuing education you've had. And if you have everything together in a binder, it makes things super simple once again. Okay, so that's the first binder that I suggest. So with the second binder that I suggest, same principle, having the 3-ring binder. 1 inch is fine. So this is for, a new nurse practitioner or a nurse practitioner that's in their clinical rotations. I know a lot of people use apps, But when I went to school to become a nurse practitioner, I didn't rely a lot on apps. For one, when you're in a clinical setting, you just don't know who's watching you, and your instructor or maybe people who work in that clinic may think that you're playing on your phone more so than reading and trying to learn through apps on your phone, if that makes any sense. So I kept my app usage to a minimum when I was in clinicals. So what I want to suggest to you is getting a second binder and using that for clinical information. And if you're anything like me, I'm really old school to begin with. So I like seeing things and visualizing things and having a tangible asset like paper, and I like writing things down. Even though I use a lot of my smartphone apps and I write things down on my app, I really do like notebooks and I like writing things down. So with this binder, I would suggest that, if you're like me and you like flipping through pages and like having a physical reference, is printing out some physical references and putting this binder for you. So when you do go to clinicals, and everyone who does go to clinicals should come prepared and have their bag with them that has information on their clinical rotation that they're currently in, whatever it is, peds, OB, whatever. So they should have a book, they should have little guides, study guides, whatever. You should also have an NP binder. And in that NP binder, go ahead and you can organize it however you like, but go ahead and put some printouts in there of the most common treatments, the most common medications used in primary care, the most common conversions, ruler, just whatever it is that you feel like would actually help you, put that in a binder. And I wanted to let you guys know that I do have a product that would fit perfectly in a binder, and I did create it simply because I know a lot of nurse practitioners use a clipboard or maybe want to use a binder or folder or whatever, and they could put it in there for quick reference. So one of my products that would fit perfectly in an NP binder is the NP clinical cheat sheet. So I published this a few years back, and you see there's a lot of information packed in 2 pages, double-sided. It's laminated so that way you can actually put holes in it and you can just stick it in your binder, and that can be a reference for you as well. So I have this one, and I also have the urgent and emergent cheat sheet, which is more along the lines of people who are going into acute care settings and taking care of fluids and people who have shock and things like that. But either one would work really great in a notebook. So I just wanted to share that little tip with you guys, that if you look back on my blog post, you're going to see that I did write about an NP binder a while ago, but I'm going to have to update that post and go ahead and say that now I recommend not only one that keeps all your professional information in it, but I recommend 2, a second one that is going to help you when you're actually in clinicals and when you're actually on the job. So me being a nurse practitioner, and I've been a nurse practitioner for 7 years this year, I still had reference material that I carried around with me. And I still had a binder, I still had little printouts, I carried around my own little cheat sheet, I carried around A&P information to, look up the muscles and the bones and the joints and everything. I had all of that even as a practicing nurse practitioner. And I think, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not arming yourself with information that you think you'll need on a daily basis and just have it right there at your desk. You can just glance at it. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. So you need to refresh your memory on something, just look at it. Oh, okay. Yes, that's what I was thinking, or, change something up just based upon, your information that you have in your own clinical binder. So I just wanted to share that tip with you guys, and I hope it helps. So if you have any questions or anything, you can just leave them in the comments. I would love to see you guys in my NP board review group, and you can always come and check us out on our website, renursingedu.com. And that way you'll be up to date on the latest tips, you'll be up to date on the latest tricks, products, everything. And also, last but not least, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.